that? Mr. Turkey and he's big and fat. Gobble, gobble, what does he say? Please eat ham on Thanksgiving Day. This looks so cute. You've got it all fixed up like the Pilgrims, where the Pilgrims live. Look at that. There's Percy Pilgrim and Priscilla Pilgrim back there. You remember the Pilgrims came to our country first of all and built log cabins and built farms and lived here and started America, and they came over so that they could worship God like they wanted to.
That's
Came
right.
over from England. They had a mighty hard time. A lot of them got awful hungry and cold, and some of them got sick and died that first winter. But then they decided that they were so grateful that God had blessed them so they'd have a day of special Thanksgiving. And they had Thanksgiving, and they ate something good, and now we have Thanksgiving, and we ate something good. But most of all, we say thank you for all the wonderful blessings.
That's
and you know, we should thank all the time. We should thank God every day.
We should thank
But
God every day.
a special day, I'm sure, pleases Him when we say thank you for so many things. I guess we better sing the Thanksgiving song. Ready? Here we go. Let's see. Well, turkey dinner,
Turkey dinner,
turkey dinner,
turkey dinner.
gather around,
Gather round,
gather around.
gather round.
Well, who will eat the drumstick?
Who will eat the
The
drumstick?
yummy, yummy drumstick.
The yummy, yummy drumstick.
Please sit down,
Please sit down.
everyone sit down.
Everyone sit down.
Well, cornbread dressing
Cornbread dressing
and chestnut stuffing
and chestnut stuffing
and sweet potato pie
and sweet potato pie
with Cool Whip this high.
with Cool Whip this high.
Well, we were all much thinner
We were all much thinner
before we ate that dinner.
before we ate that dinner.
Me, oh my.
Me, oh my.
What a fun, silly song.
That's the way I feel after Thanksgiving dinner.
I think we all do. Everybody wants to take a nap. Well, we've seen that a couple of times while we're having Thanksgiving stories. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do a turkey. Let's do gobble gobble. We did that. Ready? Gobble gobble. Who is that? A Mr. Turkey, and he's big and fat. Gobble gobble. What does he say? Please eat ham for Thanksgiving Day. He does not want you to eat turkey. He wants you to eat ham.
Right. Well, what do you prefer, ham or turkey?
Well, I like both of them. I like a little bit of both of them.
I
That
do
tastes
too.
Good. Good, yummy,
I
yummy.
do too.
Well, let's see if there's another one. We could do one little, two or three little turkeys up in a tree.
We
Let's do
sure
that.
can.
Y'all ready? Get your fingers ready. Here we go. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little turkeys, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little turkeys, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little turkeys, 10 little turkeys sitting up in a tree. They flapped and they flapped and they flew away. They flapped and they flapped and they flew away. They flapped and they flapped and they flew away. No more turkeys in the tree today. How about that?
How
And
about
we could tell a turkey story. Let's see. There were 5 little turkeys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up in the tree, and the first turkey said, "Glubble, glubble. What do I see?" Glubble, 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 glubble. And the second one said, "Hunters with a gun." And the third one said, "We better run." But the fourth one said, "Let's hide in the shade." And the fifth one said, "I am not afraid." Well, he just bragged, but here goes the gun. Let's go. But 1, 2, 3, bang went the gun, and run, turkeys, run. They didn't stay around,
They
did they?
didn't. That was funny.
I hear daddies and sometimes girls and boys going hunting, turkey hunting. But I've always heard it's kind of hard to kill a turkey because they run right real fast. You have to sneak up on them. Well, let's see. That's pretty good Thanksgiving songs, and we'll sing them again so you can learn them, and maybe you can sing them for Thanksgiving for y'all if you have some company for Thanksgiving. But you want to have a story now?
I do have a story
That's
now.
a funny story. I do love it.
I love this story. It's called A Turkey for Thanksgiving. Now, we know we eat turkey for Thanksgiving, and ham and cranberry sauce and dressing. Oh, makes me hungry thinking
No,
about
I
it.
can hardly wait.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Moose was getting their Thanksgiving table ready. Sheep will sit here. He likes a chair that's straight up and down, said Mr. Moose. Rabbit here, Porcupine here, Mr. and Mrs. Goat here. He smiled at his wife. Isn't it nice to have friends to share Thanksgiving?
And you know, that's such a cute picture. Kids, the moose is just like their home where human beings live. They get everything all ready, and they're cute.
Mrs. Moose set 2 paper pilgrims, one at each end of the table.
She decorated.
She did. She placed the paper turkey with its great fan of a tail between the candles and stood back. They look good, my dear, said Mr. Moose. Mrs. Moose sighed. Yes, but I wish we had a real turkey. Everyone always has a turkey for Thanksgiving. Everyone but us. Mr. Moose nuzzled Mrs. Moose's head. Well, that won't do. I will go this minute and find you a turkey for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Moose put on his cap and went out. Mist wandered through the bare trees. The cold made his nose water. Rabbit poked his head from his rabbit hole. Mr. Moose, is it dinner time yet? Not quite yet. Mrs. Moose wants a turkey, so I'm off to find one. Rabbit joined him in 3 quick hops. I'll come too.
Looks like Rabbit's bundled up for the cold weather, doesn't it?
I know. Moose's warm breath hung white in front of him. Snow crunched under his hooves and made little holes, and Rabbit jumped over. I see the goats, Rabbit said. Mr. Goat raised his head and spat out the tin can that he was chewing on.
Goats.
Is it dinner time? He called. Not till I find a turkey, Mr. Moose said. We saw one down by the river, Mrs. Goat told him, and Mr. Goat added, a fat one.
And children, look, they got the old tires all around the house. They got their house decorated.
The goats leaped down from their perch. We'll show you. Sheep was farther up the hillside, looking round as a fur ball in his winter coat. Is it dinner time? He bellowed. First I have to find a turkey, Mr. Moose bellowed back. There's a turkey nest on the riverbank, Sheep called. Wait for me.
They're all going after a turkey.
They are all going after the
Because
turkey.
Ms. Moose wants turkey for Thanksgiving.
The earth smelled of ice and moss as they crunched along. Above them a crow hung, black as a puff of wood smoke. Porcupine was hiding in the underbrush. It's you, he said and put his quills down. We're off to get a turkey for Mrs. Moose, Mr. Moose explained. Do you want to come? I'm slow, Porcupine said. Pick me up on your way back. Who'd want to pick you up? Sheep asked and laughed his bleat of a laugh. I'll wait, Porcupine told Mr. Moose.
They don't like to pick porcupines up. They stick you, don't they, with their quills. He got his little earmuffs on.
He does. They saw Turkey's nest right away, and Turkey himself peering over the top of it. Turkey! Turkey! Mr. Moose called. Turkey! Hello, in his sweetest voice. Ah! Turkey blundered from his nest and ran. Mr. Moose lumbered after him. Turkey, don't run. We just walked you for Thanksgiving dinner. Turkey ran faster.
He thinks they're going to eat him up.
Yeah.
Poor turkey, run, turkey.
Oh no, they want him for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, look, they caught him. Oh,
Mr.
my.
Moose saw the red and blue sheen of Turkey's neck. Turkey's tail brushed crumbs of snow behind him as he tried to fly. Too fat, Mr. Goat said. Turkey's legs bent in the middle as he fell. Mr. Moose put a booted hoof on his head and smiled his great toothy smile. I hope you don't have other plans for Thanksgiving, Turkey.
Oh, poor turkey. He thinks he's going to get eaten up. But look, it's a good surprise. Watch.
He helped Turkey up. My wife won't mind that you're too fat, he said. Let's go. It's getting close to dinner time.
And look at him.
They marched.
Miss Laura, he's just got his brakes put on his leg, on his feet, because he doesn't want to go. He thinks they're going to cook him.
They marched Turkey in front. I'm sorry about this, for I can see you don't want to come, Mr. Moose said, but I must insist. A promise is a promise.
A promised Miss Moose.
There was a wreath of dried fruit on the moose's door. Inside, the house was filled with Thanksgiving smells. Mr. Moose hid Turkey behind him. "Look who I brought, Mrs. Moose," he said. "Sheep, the goats, rabbit, and porcupine. And ta-da!" He pushed Turkey around in front of him. "For you, a turkey for Thanksgiving."
And Turkey looked so upset, don't you? Look at him, poor fella.
Mrs. Moose clapped her hooves. "I'm so happy to have you, Turkey." "Thank you, Mr. Moose. Now everything's perfect." "Shall we sit?" Sheep asked, heading for the straight up and down chair. "Let's," Mrs. Moose pointed. "Rabbit here, Porcupine here, Mr. and Mrs. Goat here, and look, I brought a chair from the other room in hopes of Turkey." A chair?" Turkey stammered. "Right next to me," Mrs. Moose said. "Light the candles, Mr. Moose." Did you know all along?
I did. That's one of my favorite books. And look at that.
There were bowls of acorns and alfalfa sprouts, dried summer fruit. There was willow bark and cured grasses and wild parsley. There were pressed leaves, thin and pale as new ice on a pond. "I hope you find something here to your liking, Mr. Turkey," Mrs. Moose said. "I wasn't sure of your taste." "You are so kind to worry about my taste," Turkey said. "I thought you'd be worrying about how I tasted."
That was a fun story with a wonderful ending to it. Let's see how they do.
"Heavens, no!" Mr. Moose smiled his big tooth smile and filled everyone's cup with cold spring water. "It's so nice to have friends around the table at Thanksgiving." Turkey's wattles wobbled. "It's even nicer to be at your table and not on it," he said. "Happy Thanksgiving, everyone."
The cutest book in the world.
I
think you can
love
come to the
it.
library. You can call them and tell them you'd like to have it. You can get it. Yeah,
You
it's so
can
cute.
get this book. Happy Thanksgiving, Turkey.
I love that. That's a
You
favorite
turkey
book.
you.
Turkey you.
And happy Thanksgiving.
To you.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I am thankful. I'm thankful for my kids and grandkids. I'm thankful that I get to work with Miss
We have a
Betty
good
here
time,
at the
don't
library.
we? I am too.
Yes.
And so glad that we get to come and tell stories for you. The virus has really changed things up, but we found a way to trick it, haven't we?
We
Thanks
have.
for you. Miss Maddie couldn't do it, but Miss Laura knows how. All right. Be looking. We'll have another Thanksgiving story all during this Thanksgiving time. But don't forget, gobble, gobble, who is that? Mr. Turkey Big and Fat. Gobble, gobble, what does he say? Please eat ham on Thanksgiving Day. That's a joke.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
Turkey.
Thanksgiving.